On the 14th of November 2024, a woman made a phone call from a hotel room in Cardiff. She was calm. She was precise. She described an intruder at a residential address in Leeds. Height, build, dark jacket. The way he moved through the hallway. The call lasted 4 minutes and 12 seconds. It was recorded. Timestamped. Geolocated to Cardiff, 300 miles away. The homeowner, Stuart Reeve, 48, was found dead inside at 11:52 p.m. Single blow, controlled, precise. The woman who made the call had never been to that street, had never met Stuart Reeve, had no idea he was dead. And everything she described was accurate. This is case 005, The Call. Stuart Reeve had lived in Leeds for 14 years. Co-owner of a private logistics company, a business he had built with his partner, Daniel Foy, over 9 years. By all accounts, the partnership was solid, functional, professional, unremarkable. Stuart was described by people who knew him as methodical, thorough, the kind of man who finished what he started. His wife Marina said he had been distracted for 3 years, working late, keeping the office door closed. She assumed it was the business. It was not the business. In his home office, behind a panel in the bottom drawer of his desk, investigators found a folder. Photographs, dates, locations, notes written in his own hand. 3 years of quiet, private work. Stuart Reeve had been looking for someone. Rachel Cord was 34 years old, a teaching assistant at a primary school in Cardiff. No criminal record, no connection to Leeds, no connection to Stuart Reeve. 6 weeks before the murder, Rachel had responded to an advert on a private jobs board. She was contacted by phone, a voice she had never heard before. No name given. She was told the work involved a single phone call to the police, reporting a disturbance she had witnessed. She would be given a script, a precise time to call, £400 in cash, delivered by post. She assumed it was a training exercise, a test of police response times, something legitimate, something boring. The cash arrived 3 days later. The script arrived with it. Rachel read it once, took a photograph of it on her phone. She doesn't know why she did that. She just did. On the 14th of November, at exactly 11:14 p.m., she made the call. 3 people became central to the investigation. The first was Daniel Foy, 51 years old, Stuart's business partner of 9 years. On the night of the murder, Daniel was at a work dinner. A restaurant in the city center. 6 colleagues present. Every one of them confirmed he was there, from 7 in the evening until past midnight. He was calm in every interview, cooperative, articulate. He asked the right questions. He said all the right things. The second was Marina Reeve, 45, Stuart's wife. Quiet, contained, cooperative to a point. She confirmed that Stuart had been distracted for 3 years, working late, keeping things close. She said she assumed it was work. She said she never looked in the drawer. The investigator noted that Marina Reeve never cried in interview. Not once. She just sat very still and answered every question precisely. The third was Rachel Cord, who came forward 3 days after the murder when she saw Stuart Reeve's name in the news and understood what she had been part of. She told investigators everything: the advert, the voice, the script, the cash, and the photograph on her phone. That photograph would change everything. Let's establish the sequence. 11 years ago, a 17-year-old girl named Amy Gillis attended a private gathering in rural North Yorkshire. She was not supposed to be there. She came with someone else. 4 days later, Amy Gillis disappeared. Her case went cold within 8 months. She has never been found. 3 years ago, Stuart Reeve began looking for her. Quietly, privately, methodically. He was not a detective. He was just a man who had been close to Amy's mother. An old friendship that never entirely ended, and who could not let it go. October 28th, 4 days before Stuart Reeve died, he found Daniel Foy's name in the margins of Amy's story. A location, a date, a connection that had never been followed. That same day, Stuart made a mistake. He went to Daniel directly, framed it carefully, almost casually, said the name had come up, said he thought it was probably nothing. Daniel Foy said very little in response. He nodded. He smiled. He said he'd look into it. Within hours of that conversation, the advert appeared on the private jobs board. 4 days later, Stuart Reeve was dead. When Rachel Cord came forward, investigators were initially skeptical. Her story was strange. Too strange. A woman hired to make a scripted phone call? A voice on the phone with no name. Cash in the post. It sounded like something someone had invented. Then she showed them the photograph. The script was a single printed page, typed, formatted as spoken lines. A description of an intruder: height, build, dark jacket, movement through a hallway, followed by instructions on tone. Stay calm. Sound frightened but coherent. Do not deviate from the description. Investigators cross-referenced the language, the phrasing, the specific word choices. One phrase appeared twice in the script, a particular construction that was unusual, precise, almost legal in its formality. The same phrase appeared in a company memo, written by Daniel Foy, 8 months earlier. Daniel Foy had not hired someone to write the script. He had written it himself. A man so controlled, so certain of his own precision, that he could not trust anyone else with the words. And that control was exactly what undid him. But the script solved only half the case. It told investigators who killed Stuart Reeve. It did not tell them why Amy Gillis disappeared. What investigators know is that Amy was present at a private gathering in rural North Yorkshire 11 years ago. Daniel Foy was also present. Amy was not supposed to be there. She came with someone else. She saw something that night. 4 days after that gathering, she was gone. Stuart Reeve had spent 3 years trying to understand what she saw. He got close enough that Daniel Foy noticed. That is all we know. What Amy saw that night, what Daniel Foy has spent 11 years protecting, remains unknown. The intermediary The voice on the phone that Rachel Cord never traced has not been identified. He is still out there, and he is not done. Daniel Foy was arrested on November 21st, 7 days after Stuart Reeve's murder, charged with murder and conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. He said nothing at the time of his arrest. He has said very little since. His solicitor released a statement. Daniel Foy denies all charges. Rachel Cord is cooperating fully with the investigation. She has not been charged. 3 days after Daniel's arrest, someone entered Rachel's apartment. Her phone was taken. Her laptop was taken. Rachel was not home. The photograph of the script had already been submitted to investigators as evidence. Whoever entered the apartment was too late. Stuart Reeve is dead. Daniel Foy is in custody. Rachel Cord is alive, but she is looking over her shoulder. And Amy Gillis is still missing. Somewhere in this case is the answer to what happened to her. Stuart Reeve spent 3 years looking for it. He found enough to get himself killed. The intermediary is still out there. The gathering in North Yorkshire 11 years ago has never been fully investigated. The people who were there that night have never been named. Daniel Foy is not the end of this. He is just the part that got caught. Rachel Cord made the call that was supposed to bury the truth. Instead, it was the only thing that survived. Amy Gillis, 17 years old. Missing. Still.